that better? Let me try that again. No wonder people were so unresponsive to my greeting. The mic was off. It's great to be together this morning. We're missing some friends this morning. They are or have retreated from us and from the world, and I am quite jealous of them. But we will carry on for today in their absence. It is so great to have all of you with us. Smaller in number, but mighty in spirit, right? Something like that. Possibly sleepy in spirit. But however you are, mighty or sleepy, you are welcome here. So let's take a deep breath and let's get grounded together. Take a moment to settle into the space. And take another breath. And let's become grounded together. And I invite you to respond as I read the words on the screen. Come as you are, aching, tired, joyful, or seeking. Here we are woven together in love. Set down what you carry and let this be a place of rest. Here we are held in hope and mercy. Be present to yourself, to each other, and to the divine life that flows through all things. Here, together, we find the common thread of divine life that connects us all. This common thread of divine life in which we live and move and have our being, our God, who is lover, beloved, and love overflowing. Amen. The live stream folks will thank you.
Let us begin again.
Apparently it's contagious.
Have patience with everything unresolved in your hearts. And try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a foreign language. Don't search for the answers now. They cannot be given to you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now.
So as you can see, I am feeling a bit lonely up here today. There's a big hole to my left that I will not even try to fill. But you could help fill, because we're going to sing Everything is Sacred. And there's parts that I sing, and there's parts that you sing, and there's parts that we all sing together. So let's give it a shot. Everything is sacred, everything is sacred, everything is filled with the divine, everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred, everyone is sacred, everyone is filled with the divine, everyone is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is sacred, everything is sacred, everything is filled with the divine, everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and the sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred, everyone is sacred, everyone is filled with the divine, everyone is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred, everyone is sacred.
Good morning. My name's John, and I want to just first off say if you're here, you belong. We're so grateful that you've wandered in off the street today to be with us. We have a special guest speaker today, John, and whether you found us through him or the internet or a sign or a friend, we just want you to know that you are welcome and you belong here. Our society is one where we tend to isolate when we have issues or problems or struggles. We basically withdraw into ourselves. And yet we know in the spiritual path that when we do this journey together, we will be better off. Because none of us sees clearly. We all see faintly, as the saying goes. And we encourage you to take part of being in this community. We have a person who will be down the hall this week as a listener, and that person can be a person to just talk to, cry on their shoulders, just to be a set of ears. So that person is available for you down the hall this week. I'm not sure who the person may be. It's going to be my wife. So dump it all on her, as I regularly do. Anyway, I do encourage you, and if you want to know more, there is a QR code there, but there it is. Thank you. And you can get more information about that. All right. So, as we say every week, if you are here, you belong. Every one of us is a carrier of the inner light. Every one of us is a carrier of divine breath. So as carriers of divine light and breath, I encourage you to stand up and greet each other.
It is great to get a chance to greet each other and catch up a little bit. We can definitely do that a little more later this morning. We have some special contemplative time coming up later, as Sue was teasing last week. But for now, we're going to take this chance to sing together a very contemplative song that has such a beautiful message. That doesn't matter where you've come from, what you've done, what you've been through, you're welcome here. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come. Come again, come again, come again, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Oh, come.
despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again. Come again, come again, come.
So, 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 in light of that song, come, get involved. We have a lot going on in our community and places to connect with people. And again, it's a shared life that makes a meaningful life. So we have a lot going on. We've got What Are You Thinking Today, which is you'll all experience for those who are new here. We have the Artsy Way group launch on November 12th. We have the Artsy group meetup. We already have an Urban Ministries food drive, drop-in Enneagram group, deconstruction drop-in at Doug's house, and we also have a Welcome House Thanksgiving. So again, come however you are and get involved. Thank you. Oh, I guess I'm going to call out the Kids Winter Workshop on December 7th. There's a QR code if you want to get more information about what's going on specifically with that event. So I encourage you to get involved. And we have all of these different ways to get involved as well. We've got the Church Center app, the website, and we, of course, have an email. And if you don't have that email, you can just go to the website, and there's a way to connect to that, to subscribe to that email. So again, come however you are. Get involved.
Hi friends, this is Sue. I'm coming to you from the Well of Mercy. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm coming to you from my backyard a few weeks ago. But I'm making this video because while you're watching this video, I am at the Well of Mercy with a whole bunch of others of us who have been spending time in contemplative prayer and learning the self-awareness practice. And one thing that we're going to do this morning, Sunday morning, while we're getting ready to depart the retreat center, is participate in a contemplative practice that's grounded in a song that you are going to be invited to participate in right now at the same time, called Spem in Alium. This is a piece composed almost 500 years ago by Thomas Tallis, and it's a song about God's mercy, basically. God's mercy that is absolutely transcendent, beyond time and place, beyond religion and denomination and all of the things that we use to separate each other. It's a piece of oneness. And what makes it really special is that there are 40 different voices singing 40 different parts in this piece. As a matter of fact, an artist named Janet Cardiff did an art installation that toured around North America, and it came to the North Carolina Museum of Art, I think about 8 years ago. As a matter of fact, Maria and I went to see this installation where each voice comes through its own distinct speaker. You know, here's an image of it right there of what it looked like. And it's magnificent to walk around and hear each individual voice, but then when they come together, you know, it's just this glorious sounding musical piece that you're about to experience. And for me, it is kind of what the body of Christ, what that term means, right? That each one of us is distinct. We bring our own unique particularity to all that is, but at the end, we're one. And together, each of us, when we come together as the musicians do in this song, come together, we can create something so very beautiful, so much more beautiful than any one of us could ever possibly create on our own. And so I wanted to invite us all into a spirit of oneness this morning. So those of us who are at the retreat are going to be listening to this song this morning alongside all of you. So while you're here in the room, sitting back and sinking into this piece and meditating on oneness, we're doing the same over in Hamptonville, North Carolina. And so let us right now just sink into this present moment. I invite you to get grounded, take a few deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. And I invite you into this experience, all of us to join this experience together of diversity in unity.
Good morning, friends. First, I would like to thank Sue for allowing me to share the message today, and to those who are watching online, I'm looking forward to the next 45 minutes we have together. It's only 20. I just wanted to scare Sue. If you're visiting today, so am I. So just enjoy this space. Know that here you are welcomed. Know that here you don't have to earn or achieve or do or make or impress. So just breathe and enjoy this time together. I have been working in a public capacity for the past 30 years as both a local church pastor and as an online presence for the last decade. I've been sharing my observations, telling stories, and speaking into the moment with as much honesty as I can. There have been countless moments during those 3 decades when I've had to be the bearer of bad news, a reporter of uncomfortable realities, and a deliverer of hard words. But still, I've tried to find hope even when that hope was difficult, to offer encouragement no matter how dark the days. When the you-know-what has hit the fan, I've tried to hand out ponchos and cheer good people on. But the problem is when speaking truth about the times in which we find ourselves, you run the risk of becoming a demotivational speaker. To accurately document what's happening right now often means possibly making people feel worse than they already do in an effort to shake them alive when they're tempted to turn away or to fall asleep. Now, you likely have the same experience in the mornings you wake up in and in your circles of influence. You have people around you who, just like you, are engaged in the world. People who know what's going on, people who are protesting and writing letters and making calls and caring for people and showing up in the world. And the last thing they need is someone telling them how bad things are. But like me, you're also surrounded by good people who are desperately trying to pretend that these are normal circumstances. People who are trying to avoid the news and sidestep anything that feels unpleasant to keep up the illusion that everything is fine. And by trying to draft them into the war for our existential life, by making them aware of what's happening, you are potentially a Debbie Downer. Now, this community, friends, is a place where people of faith, morality, and conscience all gather and individually and collectively try to figure out how to make this world more compassionate and just and equitable than when we found it, or at least that's why I hope we're here. And all people of faith, morality, and conscience are in a bind right now because our convictions matter more than they ever have, but yet they're more costly than they've ever been, and they're more challenging to embody. A few years ago, U2's Bono said, "This is no time not to be alive." So this morning, I want us to admit that it's difficult to be a person who feels deeply, cares deeply, and does not turn away from the pain. Back when I was a pastor, I always used to tell people in my congregations that the easiest place to be a Christian was in a church for an hour on a Sunday morning. Because surrounded by like-hearted people wrapped in songs and words and prayers and temporarily buffeted against the outside world, it requires very little effort to profess belief, doesn't it? To have a strong faith, to make bold declarations. It's another thing altogether to step out of these buildings and into the violent, hateful, terrifying reality. And when we do step outside, it's a challenge to feel as sure out there as we do in here. And the point is, friends, this hour that we gather together should be a launching pad, not a landing pad. this is not the object of our spiritual journey, but it is fuel for that journey. Because outside these walls is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? For every human being who believes in the inherent worth and dignity of every person and respects the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part, these are treacherous days. As we watch decades of progress of human and civil rights being wiped out in a few months, as unfathomably cruel legislation gets passed, as people in the highest levels of our leadership seem to revel in inflicting pain on people, and as so many already vulnerable people are pressed up against the limits of what they can endure, it's difficult not to question whatever we once believed hold this all together, whether God or karma or simple humanity. I think we can admit that these days shake our faith, whatever that word means to us. They test our resolve. They challenge the stories we've inherited. All the accepted truths we hold about the bending of the moral arc of the universe toward justice and of love winning and of good triumphing in the end, these are all being stretched to their limits. Maybe not for you because you're more spiritually mature, but for commoners like me, the whole system feels shaky on some days. But I'm so glad that you're here because you're awake to the pain in the world. You're overwhelmed, you're exhausted, you're angry, or are you? Maybe I'm wrong. You know, we have what are you thinking at the end of this message. Maybe we should just start with what are you thinking? The fact that you're here and that your heart is working means I don't have to waste any time telling you how bad things are. Many people come to me and they say, John, I understand the gravity of the moment. I get it. I don't need anyone telling me how bad things are. And like them, you're asking the question so many others are quietly carrying. What do I do? What do I do in this version of the world? I mean, it's difficult knowing what lies years or months down the road, but honestly, it can be a challenge to figure out what to do in the next breath, can it? We're living in a time when it feels like everything is falling apart at once. Democracy, human rights, basic compassion, our emotional health. And every day, friends, we walk or scroll past injustice, a cruel law, a hateful comment, people fleeing, war. Maybe you feel today like you've exhausted all your options. Maybe you've done a lot. You've reflected, you've prayed, you've meditated, you've cared for the world. You've marched, you've donated, you've posted, you've called senators, and you still feel dogged by these thoughts. Am I doing enough? Am I doing the right thing? Are my efforts wasted? See, there's a big lie that I think we need to get rid of at the beginning of this time together. The lie that we don't know what to do. Because the feeling that we don't know what to do is often a symptom that we have seeded the story in our heads to those who want us to be disheartened and discouraged to the point that we stop caring and give up. What we're really feeling is, it's not, I don't know what to do. What we're feeling is, I don't know what to do that will result in fixing what I am incapable of fixing in real time, of changing the bigger story immediately, of figuring out the unfigure-outable. You know, there is that phrase, bending the moral arc of the universe toward justice. But the problem is, we can't see that accurately from where we're standing. That movement is almost imperceptible. But it's moving in every infinitesimal gesture of love that we engage in. So the lie that you don't know what to do is largely garbage that you and I need to stop believing as gospel. In many cases, you do know what to do because you're already doing it. You're just beginning to feel that those things aren't making a big enough difference. So today I want us to sit with a book called Meditations. It's by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And it was written approximately between 160 and 180 AD. And these writings, which form the heart of Stoic philosophy, are essentially journal entries in which Marcus Aurelius, as emperor, reflects on life and death and purpose. And they were likely never meant to be seen by anyone else. So let's take a look, shall we? Now, in this particular passage that I'm going to share, Aurelius is giving himself a pep talk about heading into days that he'd rather not. Days of tremendous political and social turbulence when, as one of the most powerful people on the earth, adversity must have been unimaginable. And here we find himself arguing with himself. He writes, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" I recognize that guy. I could have written that this morning. And I love this part of the reading because then we see him begin to argue with himself. He writes, "But it's nicer here." And so he responds to himself, and I get that guy too. So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see that the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? Then he argues with himself again. But we have to sleep sometime. And this is important. I want to pause here. Because the danger is you're going to see this and read it and hear me and think, I have to do more and work harder. And that is not what I'm going to share with you completely. Because there are two wounds that we always want to sit with, friends. The wounds of the world and the wounds we sustain attending to the wounds of the world. But Aurelius is saying, we have to sleep. And he says, agreed. But nature set a limit on that as it did on eating and drinking, and you're over the limit. You've had more than enough of that, but not of working. There, you're still below your quota. You don't love yourself enough, or you'd love your nature too and what it demands of you. Marcus writes about the importance of doing the work of being human. And friends, this message has never been more urgent. And I want to ask you today, what does it mean to you to be human in inhumane times? And I want to ask 5 questions that can help us center and allow us to stay human and to help us feel agency in the middle of the chaos. So the first question is, where is the pain? And this is about our capacity for empathy. You know, compassion is the lifeblood of our spiritual and moral systems. It's that thread running through all of our stories, whether we're deeply spiritual or decidedly undecided or fiercely anti-religious. Because the ability to feel deeply for the suffering of others, the desire to understand someone else's story, the pull to bring justice and to alleviate the pain in our paths is the through line of all human beings working for the common good. You may have heard me share this before, but the word we translate as compassion has its origins in the word bowels. Because it was once thought that the deepest emotions were housed in our internal organs, so that connection between pain and bowels makes sense. Because contained in that word is the idea that one could feel so deeply witnessing another's pain as to become internally disturbed to the point of sickness. That's why it's not inaccurate when we say that someone's story of suffering moves us. Because in that phrase, we're expressing that same internal solidarity with the person that reaches down into the very core of who we are, as we imagine their specific pain and endeavor to feel some measure of it. We've all been sickened to our stomachs seeing the pain of other people, haven't we? So the word compassion is tied to the word bowels. We are moved with compassion. And as I've shared, compassion is then a bowel movement. I said that at a retreat, and some man said, that's because we give a shit. But there's a phrase, an ancient phrase associated with compassion that says, I am twisted in my bowels. I am internally altered by the suffering I see. And the first question I want us to ask is, what twists us in our bowels? Where is the pain in your path, friends? Not what news stories are you reading, or what legislation is getting passed, or what a politician is doing, but where is the pain? Who is suffering, and what people am I feeling pulled toward? Because our empathy is our greatest GPS right now. If we truly sit with it in the quiet places, it will nudge us toward the communities that we can care for. Naming the pain will allow us to be focused and strategic in being agents of healing in a world that so needs it. So empathy is the engine, friends. The second question is, what is mine to hold? It speaks to our responsibility. So of all the pain in my path, every piece of bad news, all the injustices being exposed, what parts of those can I carry? What am I qualified and positioned to hold? What is within my ability to affect, and what is outside of my influence that I need to release? Because our sense of purpose and peace resides in placing realistic expectations on ourselves so that we don't penalize ourselves for not doing impossible things. Because that word responsibility holds within it our ability to respond. And you always have two things at any given moment: proximity to pain and agency to alleviate that pain. Having the wisdom to discard what is beyond our capacity to hold helps us put all our energy into pain relieving. See, we all have agency, but that agency is not unlimited. And you are the greatest resource that you have in making the world a more compassionate place, but you are not infinite. You know, Viktor Frankl wrote, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And the present, like the one we sit inside today, the one you inhabit as you encounter these words, is always the space between stimulus and response. And in this space, we have one thing: the choices we make based on what we believe matters. So where is the pain? And then what of that pain is mine to hold? And the third question is, what am I afraid of? In the work I do as a pastor and caregiver and consultant and speaker, people tell me things they don't feel like they can tell anyone else. In fact, I'm often at an event somewhere around the country, and someone will run up to me and share something deeply personal. They'll often start crying, and I try not to take that personally anymore. But they're often sharing something they've never shared with anyone else. And I've always tried to figure out why is that happening? And I realize they're looking to me and they're asking me to give them something they can take back to their lives with them that will help them with these relational fractures that we're all dealing with. And what I started to tell people was this: look for the fears and false stories. Find out what people are afraid of and figure out why those fears might be misplaced or addressed, because no one is at their best when they're terrified, including you and me. And I think one of the greatest challenges right now is right-sizing our fears, finding the courage to push through that fear, whether fear of being rejected or losing connections or experiencing conflict or emotional, perhaps even physical harm. And moving into the world as an agent of empathy is going to bring turbulence. But if we focus on those who are in pain first, and then we can find the courage to do what is ours to do. I wonder what courage looks like for you in these days. Courage for you might be leaning into difficult conversations. It might be stepping closer to people that you'd rather avoid. Courage for you might be leveraging your social media platform, or it might mean filling a gap that you see in your community. But these are times when compassionate, courageous people are more important than ever. So ask, where is the pain? And then what is mine to hold? And then what am I afraid of? The fourth question is, who do I think I am? Meeting this moment as a person of empathy isn't primarily about what we do, the exterior stuff. It's about who we are, the kind of people we want to show up in the world as. So as we move through our days, yes, we want to find tangible, measurable ways to effectively change the reality around us. But at the core, these days are about the human beings that we each choose to be. Because this decision, the human being that you choose to be, is regime-proof, it's recession-proof, it's not dependent on favorable circumstances or positive experiential evidence, regardless of the leadership in place or the economic or social or political realities. We all have access to who we decide to be. And all the values in the world are useless unless they are incarnated in the space of our everyday lives. See, we all have a story in our heads about who we are, about what we value, about the kind of person we aspire to be. And in 100% of those stories in our heads about who we are, we're the good guys. I know I am, until somebody online tells me I'm not. But it's helpful to reflect on who I think I am and then decide if I am tangibly embodying that person. One of the most important words in my life in recent years has been congruence. Congruence between the idea of who I think I am and the person my actions declare that I am. We live in congruence when our values become visible in our schedules and our choices and our spending habits and our relationships. I believe people should be able to view our lives from a distance and from our actions and our words and our social media, be able to reverse engineer what we actually believe and care about. This is where we move from aspiration to incarnation, and this is true individually, and it's true collectively of a community like this. So where is the pain? What is mine to hold? What am I afraid of? And who do I think I am? And the last question is, where are my people? I was leading a retreat in the mountains of North Carolina years ago, and I knew people were coming because they registered, but I was deathly afraid that no one would show up and I would be in an empty room in the mountains of North Carolina, which as an introvert, it's probably fine. But people started coming in, and there was this like building energy of people meeting one another and high-fiving and giving hugs and just introducing themselves. And all of a sudden, the doors burst open and a woman ran in and she said, "My people!" And I said, "I'm sorry, you're at the wrong meeting. It's down at room 200. But she knew enough about the gathering that she knew that there were givens in place that would allow her to be seen and heard and respected. And there was an exhale that came in the presence of those people. And I hope you felt that as you came in here today. Because I am a serial introvert. I mean, I am an Olympic level recluse. My bedroom is probably, 18 miles from here. And if Sue didn't ask me to do this, that's where I would be. If left to my own devices, I can easily spend days or weeks relatively alone outside of my family and a couple of people. And yet community is one of those things that while I avoid it sometimes and resist it at times, I am never sorry after that I've participated in it. So once we clarify the pain in our path and we weigh our responsibility to alleviate that pain and we disarm the fear and we decide how we want to show up, we need to make sure we aren't trying to show up alone. Community, friends, is medicinal. It allows us to remember that we are part of a collective. It frees us to take moments away from the fight so that we can be restored, so that we can do the work of being human, cultivating meaningful relationships, attending to our physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, and relational health. But community isn't just medicinal, it's strategic. It gives us newer and better questions. It exposes us to different stories, sometimes more accurate stories than we had. And if you're tired, I think much of your fatigue and my fatigue comes from the perception that we are the only ones worrying about what we're worrying about and thinking about what we're thinking about and doing what we're doing, that if we pause and rest, the work will pause too, but that kind of inverted narcissism is exhausting. And community helps us realize that we don't have to save the world alone. Community is like being on a road trip with someone and being able to sleep while they drive. So the questions today, where is the pain in my path? How can I center empathy? How can that be the engine that runs my existence? What is mine to hold? How can I distinguish between caring for the world in a way that's healthy and in a way that's toxic for me? And then ask, what am I afraid of? What does courage look like in the small and close of my life? And then ask, who do I think I am? Who do I choose to be despite everything happening in the world? And then where are my people? Am I being sustained by like-hearted human beings who are going to allow me to stay human? Make sure. Barbara Kingslover says, the very least you can do in your life is to figure out what you hope for. And the most you can do is live inside that hope. Not admire it from a distance, but live right in it under its roof. Live inside that hope. Begin from a place of empathy. Name the burden. Seek wisdom to know what of that burden is yours to carry. Find the courage to spend some of yourself on behalf of that burden. Embody your values and find good people so that you can care for yourself as you care for the world. And then it's about the next good decision, the next right thing, the next act of love. Because I hear the nagging question you ask inside your head a few hundred times a day. Is it me, or has a huge portion of this country lost its mind? It isn't you. That is both the good and terrible news because of what it says about you and about the place you find yourself. The fact that you see how wrong this all is means your faculties are intact. It means your mind is fully right. It means your heart is still working properly. It's confirmation that you still have a soul doing what souls are supposed to do, keep you deeply human in profoundly inhumane times. This is why you and I need to hold tightly to that soul, because it is rarer and more valuable than ever. It's why we need to embrace the holy unrest in the center of our bellies, because it is the antidote to the present epidemic of apathy. It's why we can't allow our right minds to make peace with such abject madness. These are inhumane times, friends. So stay human. Relentlessly stay human. Amen. If you're with us on the live stream, thanks for sticking with us. And you are dismissed for the day. We are going to enter into a time of what are you thinking, when you can respond to something that I've said. So those of us here in the room will do that.